Pointed out, the real goal here is to try to understand what kind of tools and what kind of software, hardware have you invested in, and what do you find is working for you? It's the most important thing you have in your toolkit. And then what are some things you've learned along the way about purchasing stuff? I know this is right up all of your alleys. So
internet performance tends to be the most important aspect of what people remember. You can have the greatest content in the world and have a crappy camera, and people are still going to, if you're going VoIP, still get something out of that if your internet is powerful.
If they're not using Zoom, then they don't need a camera. So I think the biggest thing is that they have an internet connection, and that for the audience member, it doesn't have to be as great a quality, although they'll obviously have a better experience if their download speed is better on their side.
Try to get them to connect to a wired connection to the modem, router, whatever they have. And that's been quite a challenge because a lot of people don't even realize that they actually have modems and routers in their houses.
You have a lot of windows open sometimes, like I do. Mm-hmm. Shutting some of those things down so that you can actually get better reception.
It's like, how do you educate people to know what the minimum requirements they have to prepare before they experience? Give them the information beforehand so that when they're ready to get on, they're ready to go.
These are the things that you want to make sure before you join the training conference. In this case, because it's going to be through Zoom, make sure you update your Zoom app. Here's how to do that. When you get on, here's how to test the speed of your connectivity. Here are a couple different sites where you can do that. If you're having speeds that are under 10, megabytes per second, here are some things that you can do in order to help increase that and run another speed test, and recommending that they do all of this before they actually log on for the conference start. So that's
I actually went with speakers for number 2, and because I do think it varies by platform, and there are certainly a lot of audiences and attendees that may opt to not turn on their camera because they're taking notes, or they're multitasking and doing a bunch of other things. I think the rise of platforms like Clubhouse and some of the audio only spaces are starting to show that people want to be able to consume content while doing other things or taking notes, or not necessarily being on camera. So I think the ability to hear really well and not have any kind of buffering or disturbances are a big focus for attendees.
Because I think Katie brings up a really good point. There are a lot of laptops whose microphones are really close to the fan. Mm-hmm. And as soon as the fan starts to try to cool the computer, you're actually catching noise from the fan.
By the way, I think you win the fanciest microphone award.
It's also not the most expensive, by the way. It's a pretty cool mic, and I've got a few different options, but just like anything else.
Are you saying you're just going after looks? Is that what you're saying, Carey?
No. I'm saying it's both. It works and gives a solid sound, and it looks pretty interesting.
I'm using the blue snowball ice. It's the next level up from the snowball. So it's not the $49, it's the $79, because this one is multi-directional. Mm-hmm. So I can change how the sound goes in.
So a lot of folks will be in an echoey room and they make the mistake, I say, of choosing a condenser mic. Okay, so for example, the Yeti is a very forgiving mic when it comes to audio or mic technique, because you can, you don't have to be perfect distance. If I pull away from this thing, you're going to miss a lot of what I'm saying.
I just find, having the speaker, to me, it's a little distracting.
And I literally had this all set up before, and suddenly, like 10 minutes beforehand, I had to quickly move all my stuff and pivot over. So it's also having that mobile solution, and suddenly you have to get all these mics and everything and pull, and then reconnect. There's no guarantee it's going to be working.
Frustrum. Do you know what the frustrum is?
No.
So if I have a mic and it's stationary here, my frustrum is the amount of space that I can move before I can't operate anymore. and most people's is limited, and that's what's causing the Zoom fatigue. Now this, because I had this mic around, so I finally hooked it up. It goes to a mixing board, but the key here, it's wireless, right? So now I can do all the things that nobody can do, right? And I can actually go around. So my frustrum is like 10 times, 20 times bigger than it used to be. And the key here is my vocal quality doesn't change, right, when I turn my head. And I think that's something important if you're a speaker. And it's important if you're online all day and you got to, talk with a group.
The quality of my laptop camera is okay. It's not amazing. It's not bad.
I mean, now you all have been watching it forever, but it's $39 a year. I can do all the cool nifty things that Bill was doing. I can change and do my little ultra wide. I can do all of that stuff with my camera. I mean, with my phone, I can change all my white balance, my adjustment. I can do the exposure, everything. But the app is available on Android as well. And it's in beta. It's called Camo. Use my code, please, which is Ella15, so you can get 15% off. It's cheap anyway, but a clean space. I mean, my space is up leveled because I've got this gray sheet behind me shining pink lights on it, so people think that I'm doing something cool, but it's just a gray sheet. But you don't have to have that. I mean, Katie is in a nice office space. Bill is in a nice office space. You don't have to go this far if that's not what's required for you. That's just what I choose to do for my own life.
Yeah, use lamps. Do you have lamps in your house? Start putting lamps around your office and see how that looks and how does that make you change. Like I have this window on this side and I have to constantly balance it out with something else on this other side, right?
The ring lights have different types of settings, of brightness, of different hues. So you can appear very professional even on a shoestring budget.
Don't be afraid to experiment. So just try it and see how it sounds. Like record yourself and listen back. And then if that works for you, then go for it. What's the camera? What's the audio like? What's the lighting like? And then location. Like,
there's no one best piece of equipment. It's what's best to suit your needs and fitting the pricing that you're able to afford.
I do. It's your brand at the end of the day when it comes to what it is that you're trying to bring across.
Is a miracle, people, miracle.
I really want to thank each of you for coming along and being part of this.